Hi everyone, this is Sharon. I am here today to share with you a bundle of journals that I've been working on over the last month or so. I received requests from 4 ladies to do prayer journals, and the requests came in right about the same time, and they all wanted the same style journal to pattern these somewhat after the medieval French prayer journal that I made several months back. So I've been kind of working on these simultaneously, and I just finished them up and wanted to share them with you. I will flip through one of these because the contents in all of them is pretty similar. They just have different covers on them, so I'll show those to you. I made these journals from some antique French books that date from around the mid-1800s. They all have beautiful embossed and gilded covers. The spines on these old books are usually quite feeble and not much left to them. So they're also quite narrow, too narrow for a journal. So what I like to do is try to salvage the spines as much as I can. They have lots of old glue and things on them that gets really brittle, but I made bookmarks for each one of these journals that I will send along with, and got a little bit of those spines preserved. In looking at the construction of the journals, they each have a velvet tie, and I've used these Bakelite buckles to kind of cinch them up. And so I did have to reconstruct the spines. I'm just going to slide this off. The spines I've used, I've covered them with wool fabric. Each one has a little bit different fabric to kind of go with the cover. I reinforced it with some chipboard, kind of a lightweight. It's pretty flexible. It keeps the spine a little bit flexible, but it does give it a pretty nice structure. And then I also lined it with another fabric, wool fabric on the inside as well. So they're pretty sturdy. The front and back cover, I actually did machine stitch also to the spine. So they are going to stay together pretty well, I think. So this one, I've got this kind of black and cream. I like that pattern on the wool. And for all of them, I did the stitching all the way through the spine so you can see it on the outside. I just like the way that looks. I think it goes with the medieval theme that I was going for on these. This one had some very loved corners, so I did reinforce those with these metal corners. And then the pictures on each of these, the original pictures did not really lend themselves to prayer journals. So I replaced each of those with an image, a different image that's more religious in nature. So this one, really love this image of Madonna and Child. And this next one has this really pretty gold and a deep blue color to it. The spine is this deep blue wool, and it's just got a little bit of a plaid going through it. And I put this angel image on the front, which I absolutely love. And then this is what the back looks like on this one. And then the inside, again, I've got the other wool fabric to reinforce the inside. And then this one has this pretty teal cover. And again, I used this beautiful image on the front. And then this one has kind of a herringbone type of fabric for the spine. And then that's what the back looks like. And then this one has this blue and gold cover. And this image is actually an image of the Vatican. And I pulled that from the previous medieval prayer journal I made and put it on this one because I thought the colors went well with it. And then this one's got kind of a houndstooth, a dark green wool for the spine. And then this is what the back looks like. I'm just going to flip through this one with you. So for the inside covers, I used these images. They're from TaylorMade Journals. They're like old fabric sample images. I just love this kit. I rediscovered it again the other day, and I forgot about all the wonderful pictures in there and images. And then on the back, I used another image from that kit, and then I just overlaid it with this image of the cross on there. I just like the way those kind of tapestry and embroidery images work on inside covers, and I thought, especially with this medieval one, it went quite well. So the inside you'll probably recognize if you saw my other video from my previous prayer journal. It's got a lot of the same pages and things, just different types of ephemera, and book pages are a little bit different, of course. And so as we go through, the base pages, like the cover pages of each signature, this one has 7 signatures in it, are from Medieval Mirage. And then I've just got a wax seal down there with some fabric. Here I've got a fabric pocket, did some decorative stitching on there. And then in that pocket, I've got this little kind of booklet journaling spot. And there's an image in the middle that opens up. It's a catalog of religious items. So that's in there. And then for each of the journals, I incorporated some of the original book pages from their books. And these are all in French. On this page, I've used some handmade paper. And then I've clicked on there this prayer card image, and I backed it with a vintage playing card. This is an image, it's actually a printable that I have, and it's from an old French document. And then here I've got waxed paper for the page, and I just did a little bit of stenciling on there with some paste. And then this is the image in the center of the signature. And on this page, I've clipped this little writing spot, and I've just included some coffee dyed papers, and then this image on the back with lots of spaces to write there. And then I backed it with this world map image, and then used some marble paper up here for the top. On this page, I did a fabric flip with this Swiss tool. I really love this. I like using that for flips. It lets you see through, but you can still use it to write underneath. And then on these pages, I've done a little embellishing with some metallic paper. And then I've got some treated napkin pages in here as well. I did some embellishing on that page. On this page, I created this journaling card with this image on the front, and then it flips up. There's a lot of writing space in the middle, and then this is the image on the back. This is a book page from a religious book that I have. It's got some really neat images in there, and it's all on the life of Christ. And then on this side, I folded it up because it was quite large and just created a shallow pocket with a fabric top on it. And then in there, I've got some antique papers. This is a letter, French letter from 1880. And I won't open it up, but it's got some beautiful handwriting on the inside. And then this is an onion skin invoice from 1923. I always like to include some bird book pages. And then in the center of the signature, and on several of these, I've used some of my favorite images, these tabletop displays. In this pocket, I have this original prayer card. And then this is a tag that I made. It's got a little tuck on the back. And then in there, I've just inserted this little journaling spot. Here's the other side of that pretty book page on the life of Christ. And then on this side, I've got this velvet ribbon that I embossed, and I just used that and stitched it in as a belly band. And then in that pocket, I've got this trifold. So I've got some crinkled up paper on the inside and this pocket with a tag in there. And then the back side has a little bit of collaging and place to write. Just love these images from Medieval Mirage. Here I did a fabric cluster on the top of the page, some lace and trims and fabric. And then here I created a corner pocket, and this page is an image of a church at Christmas time. And then in there I've got this journaling card. Here I've got another pocket that I created, and I just punched the top of that page. And then in there I created, this is a duplicate of one of my favorite prayer cards. And then this is a book page from a book that I have. It's called The Psalms of David. It's got some really pretty images and printing in it. And then in the center of the signature, I've got these side tucks, and I just wrapped those up kind of with some kind of a clasp, policy envelope type clasp. So I've got a little piece of leather there, and then that opens. And then inside, I've got a pocket, a little tag in there. And then again on this side, the same, another pocket, and then this little journaling spot. And then you can see some of the images from those book pages. On this page, I clipped in this antique postcard from 1895, and I just embellished it a little bit with a sticker there. And then on the back side, I created this little vellum belly band, and in there I tucked this receipt from 1896. And then on this side of the clip, I've got this little oval image of, I don't think it's Mary. I think it's another little saint. I just backed it with decorative paper. And then here I've got a shallow pocket again, embellished the back a little bit. And then in there I've got this little pocket, floating pocket of sorts. I used the this image of some eco-dyed paper, trimmed up the back a little bit, and then I lined it with some vintage ledger paper on the inside. And then in there I tucked this tag, and I've got a velvet tab on there. And then here on this side, I just took a couple strips of paper and crossed those over to create kind of a tuck, corner tuck in there. And then in that pocket, I've just got some antique book pages from some religious books, and just a little embossed piece of paper there. In each of these journals also, I inserted these, I think they're called stereo cards or something like that. They're hard cardboard, and I just embellished them a little bit. but I thought they would make nice writing boards, and they've got a religious theme. Each one has a little bit different image on the front. On this page, I embellished again with another wax seal and a piece of velvet. Here I've got a vellum belly band that I did some decorative stitching on, top and bottom. And in there I tucked this journaling sheet. And I just did some stenciling on the back. And then I've got this envelope. And in there I've got an old original photo and a little piece of wallpaper. This is a page from the 1870s from a Peterson Magazine's book, and it's a embroidery pattern. I just thought it's neat to incorporate some of those pages. And then here I've got straw paper that I punched top and bottom. Just embellished that a little bit. This is an old German book page. And then here I just kind of trimmed it up with these kind of trim ribbon images. And that's a flip out, so you could tuck something in there if you'd like. And then in the center of the signature, I've got two small pockets made with some labels. And then in those, I've got these narrow little either bookmarks, or you can use them as kind of a small little tag. That one and this one. And I've gold leafed the back on those. On this side of the tuck, I inserted this little grouping of cards that I made. I just backed them with some papers. And then I attached a little medal on there. Here I created a corner tuck with this image of it's another book cover that I have. And then in there I've got this embroidery image that can be used to write on the back. And then these are some pages from an antique embroidery, French embroidery book. And I embellished the top of this page with some lace and a button and some washi. Here I've created a tab and just used a little label, some lace on there. Here I created a side tuck and embellished it with this pretty image. And then in there I've got another antique book page from a French embroidery book. It's similar to the other one, only it's a much larger book. And then here is one of the original book pages. And a little embellishment on the top of that page. Here I took an old envelope, kind of a vintage envelope, but it has this kind of amber colored window in it. And so I just put this image of Mary behind there. And then on this side, I created a top tuck. And I also lined the inside of the envelope with this image. And then in there, I've got this tag. In the inside of this signature, I've got these images. There's just a little flip out here, and I embellished it with this trim. And then in that tuck, I've got this card. It's wallpaper on this side, and then this is an image from Raindrop Lila. I've got a number of her images in here from one of her kits. It just looks like an old silk tapestry. Then on this side, on this tuck, I've got another tag. On this page, I took some paper doilies, and they're coffee dyed. And I use them to create these flip outs. And on the flip outs, I've got these images of some holy cards. I just backed them with old book page, but they flip out. And then I've got this stencil on the back. The other side of that book page. And then on this page, I created a side tuck. I've got the edge of the page trimmed up with some cheesecloth and just some decorative stitching on there. And then I created this little piece out of wallpaper that you can use for tucking things in. And then I've got this tag. Just have a little tuck in there with the image in there. And then this page. This is from one of Sam Poole's new kits. I just love the images in there. Oops. Here I did a little embellishing again on the top of this page. Some cheesecloth, a button image, and I did some stenciling on that piece of paper. And then over here, I've also got additional stenciling with cream paste again. I just tinted that a little bit so it stood out from the page. And this page is made from a page from a book that I have. It's called Terracotta of the Italian Renaissance, and it's got some really beautiful images of buildings and sculptures and things. So I've put some of those book pages in each of these journals. And then in that tuck spot, I've got this book page. And then this holy card that I embellished with some fabric and a place to write on the back. Here I've got a pocket that I embellished with some vellum again, and the back side of that page from the Renaissance book. And then in here I've got a little narrow tag, embossing again on the top. And then this is a page from an old religious book also, and it's quite fragile, so I did back it with this masking paper, and then that gives a nice spot to write. Here, this page is from an old ledger book page from 1821 or 21 or 27. Some more bird images. And then on this, in this pocket, I've got one of the book pages, and then this is a really pretty book page with some images on it, and that's, I believe, from an antique book. I didn't look at the year, but it's quite old. And then on this side, in this tuck, I've got this postcard. And then on this page, I've got another fabric flip with some lace and a piece from a religious stole. I really love those deep colors in there. And then a place to write underneath. Little embellishment on the top of that page. And then in this belly band, I've got this sheet with fruit. And then I did some stenciling on the back, and it's just got this little piece on the top. But I left it light enough that this could easily be used to write on. And then this is a calendar page from a book that I have, a calendar. And I just embellished the top a little bit. And then this side, this is the other side of the calendar page. And then I've just added another page that keeps flipping out. And it just leaves a lot of nice room for writing on both sides. And then in here, I've got a couple of little pockets with some tags in there. The backs have some of my coffee dyed paper, and I did some stenciling with acrylic paint on there. So we will fold this all back up again. On this page, I've clipped in this document. I call it like a document keeper. I've got a piece of linen that I used to tie it up. And then I've got these brass brads that I used to keep everything together on the top. The back of the piece is this old antique religious document. And then on the front, I embellished the top a little bit with a punched out piece of paper. And then I added a stenciled piece of paper, this kind of parchment paper in there, and a book page, and then place to write on the back. All right, I think we're just about to the end. Let's see. Here is the center of the signature has this waxed image of a garden. I just added a couple of fabric tabs and button images on there. This page, I clipped in, again, another floating pocket that I made with some eco-dyed paper and just trimmed it up a little bit on the back. Added a stamp, and then I inserted this journaling card. This is one of the newer background pages from Roxy Creations, one of her newer kits. I just love all the images in there. And I used it to, it flips out because the image is this wide. But then I attached another sheet on there of this holy card image to create a pocket. So I've got this image on this side. And then I stitched on an extra piece of paper to create the pocket. I've got this little tab in there. And then in the pocket, I've got an original prayer card. And then this tag that I made. On the top of this page, I've got these really delicate metal kind of filigree pieces, and I just attach that. And that takes us to the back side. So I hope you enjoyed that flip through. I really enjoy making these types of journals, but I'm a little wiped out now on these, so I'm hoping to move on to something different. And hope to see you soon. I want to put a video together. I'm kind of working on a new digital kit for my shop. I've been scanning all of these beautiful cover images as I'm using them. And so I've got a number of those that I want to incorporate into a digital kit. And I will jump on a video just to kind of show you how you might be able to use those images to create your own journals with these types of covers. So thanks for joining me, and until next time, bye-bye.